Hello and welcome to 15 Minutes With. We're here today with Ryan Boyle. He is not only the winner of the silver medal in cycling at the 2016 Rio Paralympics, but he is also the author of the amazing memoir, When the Lights Go Out. Welcome, Ryan. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, just to get right into it, for the people who don't know, can you tell us a little bit what happened to you about your journey?
I grew up as an athletic kid. I love to be active, riding my mountain bike or running, anything like that. But when I was 9 years old, I was at a friend's birthday party and I slid down his driveway into the road on a big wheel toy, and a speeding pickup truck happened to be coming by. And it hit me in the back of my head and dragged me under the axle for 55. So I had to undergo emergency brain surgery because the back of my skull was crushed into parts of my brain, which had to be removed. So that's a fun little icebreaker I like to tell people.
Oh my god.
But my neurosurgeon told my parents I operated on him as if he had a chance, but I don't believe he does. So that kind of set the tone for my 2 month long coma. But I came out of it against all odds and was only able to move my right index finger. But the first neurologist who saw me told my parents that I'm optimistic that Ryan will regain enough strength in his right hand to type. So immediately they're like, oh no, he's going to be doing a lot more than that. He'll be back on his bike and running around. The
And
running
clearly they're
around
right.
is a little far, but I'm back on my bike.
So, how did you go from just being able to move your right index finger to competing in the Paralympics? How did you get to there?
Well, the short answer is a lot of hard work. But it took years and years. So initially, I was in an intensive rehab hospital in New York for 7 months, and that's where I regained the ability to speak, to stand on my own. Um, I could take steps, but with support. So, for instance, when I was discharged from there, my goal was to walk out the doors, and both of my parents grabbed my arms and helped me walk out the doors. But that was just the end of my first chapter, so to say. Um, so I had a lot of work to do, and it was interesting to see my rate of progression because when I was back in the public school system, I would go around the halls in my wheelchair for the first year, and then I would be on a walker with the wheels on all four corners. And then I progressed to two forearm crutches. Then I went to a single cane. And then I had a private therapist coming to my house. And I took my first unsupported steps with her.
Oh
So,
god, that's great.
yeah, it's interesting because it's like those were my first, second steps of my life, or
That's
my second first steps. You know what I mean.
yeah. But that's just an amazing experience to be able to do that. I'm not sure a lot of other people would have been able to put in the dedication and the hard work that you clearly did.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So, how did you get into paracycling? How did that come around? You mentioned earlier that when you were a kid, you were always, on your mountain bike, but how'd you
Yeah,
get back into it?
yeah. So my mom and I thought that I should spend a month at a intensive rehab hospital yet again,
Mm-hmm.
like the one in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So she did some research and found a phenomenal one in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And the name of it was the Shepherd Center.
Okay.
So I spent a month in their Beyond Therapy program.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, after my therapies each day, they would see me in the gym or in the pool for hours. And they're just like, does this kid ever stop? This is unbelievable. So, when my month was up and I went back to Connecticut,
Mm-hmm.
then I told my dad that I need to move down there to further my progression.
Mm-hmm.
So he was totally on board with that. So we packed up our things, and 2 weeks later, we moved down there. So I
Wow.
really lucked out by everything falling into place.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as I was at the Shepherd Center, they recruited me onto their swim team.
Mm-hmm.
And I was swimming on the Paralympic circuit for about a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was awarded a hand cycle. And prior to this, I didn't know of any other adaptive cycles.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought this is the only way I can ride a bike again. So I trained on that and did a race in South Carolina. And after that race, I got up and walked away from the hand cycle. That raised a lot of eyebrows.
Yeah.
um, but there was a spectator there that was a paracycling coach, and he sent me an email later that night introducing me to the tricycle, which I never call by its full name because I don't want to be labeled as an adult racing a tricycle. But what it is a standard road bike
Mm-hmm.
with a custom axle that replaces the single rear wheel with two rear wheels.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make any road bike a trike.
Mm-hmm.
So you only need the custom axle and away you go.
So during that race in South Carolina, how old were you at the time?
I was, I think I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
I was still in high school.
So you were pretty young during that time.
I was.
That is
And
so amazing.
yeah, and actually, I'm still the youngest member of the U.S. paracycling team.
That's got to be an experience. What's it
Yeah,
like being on that team as the
yeah.
youngest?
Oh, it's incredible. Like I love traveling. I love immersing myself in different cultures and meeting new people. So this is really just a dream come true. And it's funny because when I was growing up, I would watch the Tour de France with my brother,
Mm-hmm.
and it eventually dawned on me. I wonder what it would be like to travel the world to ride my bike.
Now you get to.
And I'm doing it. So it's unbelievable.
So let's talk about, speaking of traveling, let's talk about the Olympics for a little bit. You, not only did you compete in the Olympics, which is, just incredible, but you got the silver medal. Can you tell us about, your experiences down there racing, winning?
Yeah, definitely. Um, and before I go on, I
You
happen to
have it.
with me.
Oh wow.
But
It's a lot bigger than I thought it would be.
yeah, yeah, it's about a pound. So it took me
Wow.
aback when they put it on me.
It has some heft to it.
Yeah, yeah. But so initially I would have to say the opening ceremonies were just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Like the most incredible thing that I've ever experienced
Mm-hmm.
because it was in a World Cup stadium. So, there were a lot of people there and all.
Mm-hmm.
And we just walked down this dark corridor. And of course, there were a bunch of athletes in front of me, so I couldn't see anything. I just heard this deafening roar get louder and louder. And then the hallway opened up into the stadium, and I saw all the flashing lights and the dancers on the floor and
Oh
stuff.
wow.
It was incredible.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah, definitely. But but just being in the village was great because the climate was right up my alley and everything could be really centered to be outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
So you never felt trapped or anything,
Yeah.
which I liked. And then there were several communal pools in the village that
Mm-hmm.
were very nice, like all tile and lighted,
That's
everything
nice.
like that. So, yeah, I was living large down there.
So how about racing, race day? What was that like?
Yeah, that was incredible. Um, it's funny what happened before the night before because I was packing my bag for the race and my room had a tile floor on it and I slipped on something and smashed my mouth on the metal bed frame
Oh my god. Oh no.
and my tooth went through my lip and I just wanted to go to bed,
Mm-hmm.
but someone happened to see me and was like, "Whoa, dude, we got to get you to sports med."
Yeah.
So then they made me compress a bag of ice on my lip um, for about 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then they sent me up to my room where they wanted me to continue that. But it was so late, I, I was really mad.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up getting to bed like an hour after I planned.
Uh-uh.
So, but thus is life.
Yeah.
So I just didn't let it get to me and did my thing the next day, and it got me
Pay it off.
there. Yeah.
So, okay. And then right now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're actually living at the Olympic training facilities in Colorado, right?
I am.
Can
Yes.
you take us through a normal day for you? Because that sounds so far beyond anything that I have experienced or would ever be used to.
Yeah. Well, I get up around 7 every day. I go down to the dining hall where there's prepared food for everyone, which is really nice. Um, so I have breakfast and then I'll come back to my room, maybe do some homework or write on my next book.
Okay.
But after that, I'd get ready to go out on a ride, and that will take me the bulk of the day. And then I come back and I'm really tired. So I just need to recover and all that. So there's a recovery center down the sidewalk at the other end of campus that is attached to the gym and sports med.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if something's ailing me, I go into sports med and they have some staff members to check it out and all. So that's phenomenal.
That's great.
Or in the recovery center, uh, you know, there's the cold plunge, which is a hot tub but filled with icy cold.
Oh,
Yeah. And then next to it is an actual hot tub.
no. So
Yeah,
you get the cold and then you get the hot.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And there is a sauna in there. You could get massages. It's phenomenal.
That sounds great. Oh my God. Now, you mentioned writing a second book there. I just want to talk really briefly about your first book. Now, this came out when I believe you were just starting out high school. Yes?
I was.
So, what was it like writing all of this down, recounting your experiences, just, that process of going through all that?
Um, I would say it was hard in a way because, like I was forced to think back on my life when I could run around and ride a regular bike and all.
Mm-hmm.
And, I really loved doing that. And then just writing of all the encounters I went through throughout my rehab
Mm-hmm.
really made me think I've been through a lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think above all, it was relief that I'd likely never go through that again.
Yeah.
And I was just glad that that was over and, time to move on with my life.
It's a beautifully written book. It's really,
Thank you.
really beautiful. So,
Thanks.
do you have plans to write a second book? You've accomplished so much between then and now. It's almost been 10 years. Almost. So,
Yeah,
can we see a second book in the works?
definitely.
All
It's
right.
it's actually nearing completion now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Can you give us
hope,
any hints about what's in it?
yeah, it's about my racing career.
Mm-hmm.
So how I got into cycling and going to college and training full time,
Mm-hmm.
and then my first World Cup experiences and moving out to Colorado
Mm-hmm.
and going to the Paralympics.
So all the good stuff. You have part
Exactly.
one, now you have part two.
Yeah.
So
And,
yeah.
I must say, I'm more excited about this current book to
Mm-hmm.
be completed because I can write all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't need anyone to fill in the gaps.
Absolutely. So just to finish up real quick, what can we expect to see next from you? Where are you next going to appear in our news cycles and on our sports channels?
Well, I'm training in pursuit of getting the gold in Tokyo.
Okay.
But before that, I want to be the world champion.
All
Yes,
right.
I have lofty goals, but
Well,
I want to see my next book published and all. So
mhm.
we'll take it from there.
There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that you will be able to accomplish anything that you want to do. Just your drive, your determination, your independence. I absolutely believe that you will get there.
Thank you.
All right, so do you have anything that you want to tell people? The people that have inspired you, the people that you inspire?
Yeah. Um, it's definitely to never stop believing in yourself, to set a goal and work on that and never look back. So you can achieve anything, and especially with the support of those around you. I mean, my parents, family, and friends were incremental throughout my recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And the generosity of others, the power of prayer, so many things play into a factor to those undergoing hardship.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, if you told me uh, 13 years ago that I would be a Paralympic cyclist with a silver medal and rivaling being world champion, I would just laugh in your face. Be like, I do not believe you.
But here
So
you are.
life is a wild ride and you never know where it'll take you.
That is great advice. All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, it's a pleasure talking with you.
Yeah, great talking to you.